as we spoke to Olivier Blanchard yesterday, he has said at Peterson, whatever it takes. How far away are we right now from whatever it takes?
Well, the most important, answer to your question comes from health people, not economic people. But if we have to spend trillions of dollars more to protect the economy from the necessary health measures, that's certainly something we can do.
We can do that, Jason, but at the heart of it is an American entrenched fear of a debt buildup. And I know interest rates have been low and all that, and that's been the bet the president has made. How concerned are we about our debt and our deficit long after this pandemic is over? Let's say fiscal year end 2022.
Look, in World War II, we saw the debt go up by 60 percentage points of GDP. That was worth it. It took decades to get the debt down as a share of GDP. We largely did that with economic growth. Right now, with low interest rates, we don't need that much economic growth to start getting the debt on a downward path after all of this is over. And I would worry about that after all of this is over.
Okay, when will all of this be over, Jason Furman? Good morning from London, by the way. I don't know if, how difficult it is to actually model. I know it's the impossible question, but what can we learn from Asian countries that have dealt with this before the Western world?
I mean, they bounce back relatively quickly. I am more pessimistic about the United States and Europe, where we've never, ever seen unemployment rates come down very quickly. So if those unemployment rates go up, they come down slowly. So I think, will it be, 2022 that we get back to the GDP per capita we had in 2019? If that's the case, I think we should count ourselves lucky.
What kind of policies, would you be for either amping up or even changing? So the U.S. and the U.K., the U.S. and Europe are trying to deal with this very differently. The U.S. will send cash in terms of checks through doors. Here in the U.K., a lot of the focus is on making sure that every business, no matter how small or big, have access to loans and grants. Is this because we're in different cycles of these economies, or is it just a different philosophy?
I think some of the differences aren't as big as they seem. So in Europe, you have countries where they pay the employer to pay the worker. In the United States, you can temporarily furlough your worker. They'll be paid by the government effectively through unemployment, and then they can go back to work. And the net result of the two of those is the same. But I do think some of the differences also are just the institutional infrastructure you had going into this. The United States didn't have a paid leave system. That's the infrastructure that some European countries are using. Just didn't have the same degree of state lending and the like. So we are having to invent new things rather than just scale them up and repurpose them.